Yo,
What up, Tommy?
Sean, what's good with you, my boy? Are you
I'm
good?
all right, man. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good, man. Week was good, man. I did yoga on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? I've been just trying to reintegrate back into society. You know what I'm saying? Man, it's just been a good week. I hooped yesterday, and then you know what I'm saying. I went downtown this weekend, so it's been a blast, man. What you been up to,
Uh,
dog?
well, this past weekend, my boy Abdul, he came up to Chicago. He's doing a
Okay.
master's program at U of I. But yeah, he was downtown, spending up all his little money. I'm like, bro, you tripping, boy. You've been in Chicago plenty of times, but
Hey,
he got a little
man.
fiance and they about to get married, and he trying to
Okay.
show all around Chicago downtown. I was like, no, I'm
Okay.
good. Just let me know when y'all doing. I can go up to Jules Osco and buy some ice cream and some cookies, bro.
Okay. Sean, see, and that's the thing. When Sean talk, man, a lot of the audience members, Sean got big dreams, man. He want to do that real estate thing, so he's just trying to stay disciplined and do his thing and make sure that he's got enough to last generations and build that wealth. So, we appreciate you, brother. Um, Man, it's been a great week. And I thought that or man, it's been a great short week. What Tuesday? I'm always already thinking it's the weekend close enough. You know what I'm saying? But as we like to get started, I'm gonna show this little funny video. It's funny because today we're talking about meal prep, right? But there are multiple ways to do this wrong. And here's the thing: one of the biggest things about meal prep is you get to be intentional about what you put in your body. So there's a health benefit. And then you get to be intentional about your money and where your money's going. You actually get to look at it and say, I can make a plan for this. So we're gonna get into this video. I think it's pretty hilarious.
Prep wrong. You can't just meal prep candy. You gotta eat something else. Storing money for fast food is not effective meal prep. You can't just order Domino's and have one piece of pizza every day. This guy's just meal prepping his cereal? This guy is actually meal prepping his gushers. This meal prep looks pretty sus. Who thought this was a good idea? It's too big. You can't just eat cookies every day. Lunchables does not count as meal prep. Okay, I think I found the saddest meal
Not the
prep. Ramen, Skittles, and coffee. A sausage a day keeps the doctor away. This meal prep looks pretty spooky. Looks like this guy gave up and is just eating cereal. Follow for more.
That's funny. So, the dopest part is when you look at meal prep and you can do it all types of ways.
Mhm.
And when we're looking at meal prep, what are some of the things that you're looking at? I know you cheap, Sean. So but don't tell me you throwing the Skittles and the ramen noodles up in that bad boy.
You know what? Let me go ahead and grab my
about.
lunch bag.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. To the crowd, one of the biggest parts of my lunch prep is this water. It kind of
All right.
it keeps me eating
So
clean and at the same time not eating too much.
I'm gonna literally walk you through like what I have almost every day.
Okay.
And a few things might change, right? So number one, I got my coffee mug, okay?
Okay.
Because every single morning Zora makes my coffee, right? And then I put the cream and the sugar in, right? This is like basically my breakfast. And then inside this bag is normally a muffin, okay?
Okay.
Sometimes I eat this muffin when I have my coffee, and sometimes I don't because sometimes the coffee is good enough, right?
Okay.
All right, so that's breakfast. And then I got my lunch. Typically, I have a fruit. So today I had apples. All right. And then maybe, veggies. So like I had carrots today with some ranch.
Okay.
And I always have a sandwich.
Okay. My dog. Okay.
All right. What about you? What it look like for you?
Man, we're gonna talk a little bit. I've got as we get on, through the topics. One of the last ones is I'm gonna talk about, planning for the grocery list week. Mine actually rotates because I'm also trying to manage my diet at the same time, so I can keep and maintain the gains, and then I can make it through the day without feeling sluggish, right? So when I'm looking at, how much. Let's talk first. How much would you say that meal cost you?
Just that meal by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe $2. Like
$2.
Yeah, like maybe $2 if because I got the big bag of coffee, right, and that's just a little bit, and then a few carrots and some apples and a sandwich, bro. Like it's probably like $2. When I first, so let's go back a couple years, all right. When I first became a professional teacher, right, I used to have, and I was living with my parents. I used to always bring whatever we had for dinner, right. I'm like, why would I spend money? My parents cook at home and the food is delicious. I could just bring it to work, microwave it, right? So sometimes I had steak, chicken, some fish, whatever, right? My coworkers used to be like, "Oh, you fancy." And then I ended up getting my own spot, right? Now when I got my own spot, that's when I started going out to eat more. I wasn't grocery shopping like that often. I started going out to eat, and then that's when I realized how much I was spending.
Ooh, okay.
I was like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be going out to eat as much because I'm spending a lot of money. So then that's when I started going to the grocery store and becoming more intentional about what I'm putting in my body and how much I'm spending. Because when I went out to eat, I was eating, fried chicken and burgers from McDonald's and stuff every day, and I would feel sluggish, like you said. Like I was extremely tired, and I can't be tired around children, bro. Like they take advantage of that. They get to do whatever they want because they know I'm too tired to deal with it. So, I decided to go with something a little bit more lighter, like a sandwich, and some fruit. Sometimes I have a water instead of a coffee, depending on, how I feel. But I always feel good, bro. Anytime I have my lunch, I'm never sluggish anymore. Like I'm ready to, go outside with the kids, run around with them, or just simply be, vigilant and watch to make sure there's no danger around.
Oh, that's dope, man. And the most amazing part is I had a similar epiphany. When I was because when I worked for FedEx, man, we tossing boxes. You know what I'm saying? We going hard all day, picking up stuff, loading. I get into the warehouse about 6 a.m. 6, 7 in the morning. I'm a little crazy. You ain't got to get in there until 7, but I get in there like 6:30 because I'm like I want to start sorting my boxes so I can have a shorter day. But I would get to a point, man, like, midday, you hungry, you starving. I wasn't packing anything. And I was feeling like garbage. I literally would wake up, go to work, and I'm like, yo, like I would feel like crap because I was eating like trash. And shout out to Doris. She said, eat clean and save money's fitness and finance goals. Yes. And the coolest part is when you are more focused you can focus during the day, you're going to get more out of your finances and your body long term. So you can produce more money and more resources later. So when I started tightening up and I started packing my lunches, right? I met this fascinating young lady, just platonic, and she was, she had lost a lot of weight, and I was like, "How did you do it?" And she got me onto prepping. I was like, she said something about ribs, and so I started boiling ribs and like baking them. So I had that little protein, and I would get the, a couple veggies here and there. But it eventually became a habit, and those things started to change, and I started to get more out of my budget, and I started to save money. And that's when I also started the Total Money Makeover. So I was also doing those things at the same time. And then I realized, I'm like, man, I feel really energized. I'm like, I got to a point where me meal prepping helped me get better at my job, right? Which helped me get more of my time back. Which what would end up happening is midday, now you catch Tommy the FedEx man at the gym, right? So when I got done with my route early, I still had pickups to pick up around 4 o'clock. So I go to the gym, I get done with my route because I was just feeling good. I was rolling. I get to the gym at like 1 o'clock, get it in real quick, doing deadlifts. If anybody check out my old Instagram, stuff like that at the Hungry Millennial, you would see me getting it in the FedEx uniform because it's basically a workout uniform. You sweating all day, you working out all day. So I get in there, get in, get out. But the thing is that also led into me being more successful in my military career. It got to a point where I had lost probably like 50, 60 pounds. And the colonel, when I come in to drill, he'd be like, "What up, skinny?" And I was like, but it was just funny because those things became compounding. We talk about compounding when it comes to money, but it also comes with your fitness goals. Those two tie hand in hand, right? And the more fit that you become, the more job opportunities you can get and create, because people look at the discipline that it took to take you to, hey, meal prep, because you're going to look different in the office. a lot of people order a lot of food, right? One band, one sound. So people start. I had a lady. She works security, where at my job. I'm a plant supervisor, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I see you meal prepping, and I see you doing this." And so those are always the beautiful moments where I could pour into other people. It got to a point where when we were talking about what was going on, I was able to pour into her, and we were able to have deeper conversations. And now, this today, she was like, "Oh yeah, I got my salad." He said, "I'm full, boy. I got my salad." And it was just amazing because just the last week she was talking about how, she ate on a Sunday and she couldn't get up, right? And the rest of the day wasn't productive for her. So it's just small things like that that really changed the game. But that led into me. I started saving money, and then I eventually, climbed my way out of debt, and I made some better decisions. But it increased my earning capacity tenfold. So if we're looking at the numbers here, right? So the average family size is 2.5 people according to U.S. Census. Dinner. So if we're looking at a fast food meal, right? $10 per meal these days at McDonald's. That's going to be times 2.5 people. Obviously, it really isn't a half person, but hey, you never know. I mean, you might be, with child. And so 2.5 people times 7, that's going to be about $175 a week. And so if we're looking at that and we multiply that, we multiply that out, plus we add to, so we got hey, you got to have lunch. Say the hubby got lunch. Double this if y'all got 2 people in the household that's doing lunch and they eating out for lunch. I used to see that every day routinely when I was working at the car dealership, right? So you take that, you take the 275 all together, and then you multiply that out by 4, right? That's $1,100 a month on fast food alone. We didn't talk about breakfast. We didn't talk about coffee. We didn't talk about snacks, right, from the vending machine. From the vending machine, Sean, one snack will cost me as much as a lunch just cost you. One snack, right? So we're looking at that, what does that mean? If we're going, groceries, right? So for instance, I'll buy like maybe $40 in groceries a week, right? Say that 40 times 2.5 times 4, that's about $400, you know what I'm saying, roughly a month. You know what I'm saying? If we're looking at it that way, it's actually a little bit more than that. All in all, like if we're looking at saving, we could potentially save $700, you know what I'm saying, a year if we actually, or $700 per month. So if we multiply that by 12, you know what I'm saying, we got $8,400 worth of savings that we can use wherever we want to. U.S. statistics also show that most people actually spend upwards of like $3,800 eating out per year. And so it's one of those things where I think it's also, it's probably like double that if you actually look at the real numbers and what people are actually reporting. And so it's very important to look at how we can save money. And a big part of, saving money is being prepared. And so we got to make sure that we're being prepared and being intentional about those things. Which leads us to, our next bullet point where we got, so budgeting hacks. So when it comes down to budgeting, what's one of your biggest hacks for budgeting?
All right. So a couple things come to mind. So number one, Zora and I, we look at the numbers every single month. Like how much did we spend on groceries? How much did we spend eating out? And where can we improve? Right. So let's say we went over budget in eating out. We'll be like, okay, next month we're going to say no to a couple people so that way we can keep the budget a little lower, the number lower, so that way we're not going over budget every single month. And then sometimes we've had conversations where, hey, we didn't really eat out that much. It's okay to increase, the number that we spend. So like our number for eating out is $200 every single month. Okay. So that's our number for eating out. And then for groceries, our number is $300. Now, again, sometimes we go a little over, sometimes we go a little under, but we try our best to only spend about $500 a month on food. Okay. Another thing that we do. So since we're talking about this whole eating out thing, sometimes when Zora is like the queen of happy hours, okay? Like she can find a happy hour anywhere, so we can save $1. All right. Okay. So she is always looking online at like 3 or 4 spots that we can go to. And, do we want to save money on food? Do we want to save money on the liquor? Like, where exactly do we want to save money on? Right. If our budget is, $200 for the month, we don't want to blow the whole $200 in one spot. Let's see if, maybe we could eat at home and just get an appetizer and a drink when we go out. You get what I'm saying? Like, or maybe it is okay that we go out to eat, but we don't buy as much groceries because we know we're going to go out to eat, so we don't want our food to go bad. You know what I'm saying? Like refrigerator. So like that was one of the things I actually learned when I started buying groceries for myself. Like, when do things go bad in the refrigerator? Because I would buy all this food and then half of it would go bad. So I had to learn, like, okay, I could throw this one in the freezer. That'll be a while. You know what? I don't need, this many loaves of bread, right? In 1 month. Okay, this would be good enough, for the month. Or maybe instead of going buying 4 loaves of bread, for the whole month in the very beginning of the month, instead I could buy maybe a loaf of bread every week. So that was always fresh. So I'm in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking like, how do I maximize what I buy? Like, can I store it, in a specific way? Like, I used to go to Google and be like, yo, what is the best way to store rice? What is the best way to store this? You know what I'm saying? Just in case it might be a better way than what I've been accustomed to growing up. Like, my dad ended up coming over to my house and was like, Sean, why you got the ketchup in a refrigerator instead of, in a cabinet? We always just keep it in a cabinet. I'm like, well, Dad, I went to Google and they was like, the best way to store it would be in a refrigerator. So it was like little stuff like that. Like, just because you've been doing it a long time a certain way, that might not even be the right way. And you could be saving money for little stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what you got?
Well, it's great that you talked about Google and research. For me, Google has helped me keep it simple. That's my number one budgeting hack, is keeping it simple. So I have a Ninja air fryer 10-in-1. It probably cost me about $160. The link is actually in the description if you want to purchase one through our link. It's one of those things where you can steam in it, you can air crisp in it, you can air fry, and you can make 3 days of meals in 30 minutes. And so what I do is, I stick, and we'll talk about this about when we get to the piece where we talk about smart grocery shopping tips. But I make sure that I've got the types of food that will go into the air fryer. And the cool part about the Ninja air fryer, the Ninja Foodie air fryer, is it gives you a bunch of menus and it tells you how to cook the things. And you get like 3 racks with it. So you got on the bottom, you got like your main, your main side, your rice or whatever you want on the bottom. Then in the middle, you got your protein. So your chicken, your beef, whatever on top of that. And then, once you drop that in, you pressure cook it. Then, if you go into the air fryer section next, you put the veggies on top, like the frozen veggies or whatever type of veggies you want, put it on top and then close it. Boom. You got 3 days worth of meals right there. And sometimes I'll find that like I only prep for, like, when I'm keeping it simple, I prep for 3 days at a time, right? So when I prep for 3 days at a time, at least my food stays fresher. So I'm not having to prep for the whole week, right? But at the same time, if I want to, when I do breakfast, it's simple. And I'm doing oatmeal, I'm doing frozen berries because they last longer. So all I gotta do is take my I got my Tupperware. So in the description, I also have a link to the Rubbermaid 10-piece that I like. They're really solid containers, amazing containers. They don't yellow or anything like that. And I'll take that. I'll pour a little oatmeal. I get the big container oatmeal. I don't get the little package. I get the big container. Pour it in there. Put my berries on top. Close it up. Put it in the fridge. I do all this like the night before, so that way when I wake up and I'm feeling a little groggy, I go and I grab it. Boom, boom. I stack both of my meals in there. And I'm good to go. I always keep a bag of apples on deck, so that way I have some sugar to kind of give me a pick-me-up, but at the same time I got fiber. They say an apple a day, keeps the doctor away. And I believe that it's so much true. Apples have so many, good traits to them that help you keep you vital, your vitality together and everything. And so it's really beautiful. So for me, it's simple. I keep a bunch of basics. And we'll kind of get to, when we look at, the smart grocery shopping tips, I'll kind of talk about the basics that I use there. But use all the tools that you can, so that way later on you have, things you can lean on when you don't feel like cooking, and it'll reduce your dishes. So meal prep is already saving you time. And guess what? Time is money, right? And with more time, you can have better, healthy days. You can have more time on the beach. Shout out to Zora. She said also certain fruits like apples and clementines can be bought in bulk because they last longer and are low in sugar. Yeah, right.
Mm.
So you can still get the sugar without getting too much of a sugar high. So that's really awesome. I usually buy like a bag of apples every week and a half, every 2 weeks. Aldi is my go-to.
Yep, I was about to say
Um,
that in the next
and my
point.
biggest, yeah, bro, and my biggest, thing is with that is I put it basically on autopilot. When I run out of something, I have a little whiteboard that I put on my board and I write it down and say, I need more of this, I need more of this. So that way, before I leave work, I actually typed all my groceries up in the morning. So that way, when I get off, I can do Aldi pickup. It really surprises me how many people still go into the store for pickup. But as soon as I pull up, I push that button, I'm outside, they come and deliver it to my car. It's amazing. So we'll get to, you said you had some smart grocery shopping tips. What you got for us, Sean?
So literally what you just said, shop at Aldi's, bro. When I first started grocery shopping, like I used to think about my parents, like, where did my parents shop at? And my mom used to always shop at 𝗏𝘂𝗯𝗀𝗀. Okay. So I think the very first time I went shopping, I went to 𝗏𝘂𝗯𝗀𝗀, bro, and I spent so much money. I was like, I can't do that. So then I was like, let me try Walmart. And I did Walmart for a while. I was like, I feel like I could, save some money at Aldi. But I hate Aldi. Like, that was my mindset back then. I hate Aldi. My grandma used to go in there and we used to put the little quarter in and get the little cart. And then we gotta get a box because we can't get no bags because she don't want to pay for the bag. I had a whole little mindset about Aldi. And then one day I was like, you know what? Let me just go in there. Right? Let me just see what it's about. And they started having name brand stuff that I actually enjoy. Like you were just talking about oatmeal. I'm like, oh, they got the oatmeal in here. I like, let me go ahead through, So I go through my little groceries, boy, and I like to guess the number. Me and Zora always guess the number. We'd be like, hey, how much you think the groceries is? And I think after the Jewel and the Walmart, I was like, man, these groceries got to be like $250. Boy, that came back $150. I was like, what? Boy, I'm about to be in here every month. So I go to Aldi's for almost everything, bro. But it is a couple things that I got to go to Jewel for, like my muffins. I got to go to Jewel for my muffins.
Okay.
I try Aldi's brand. I like the Jewel brand more. It might be an extra $1 or whatever, but I'm going to ball out my 4 quarters.
Okay. You can do that. You can be intentional. You intentional. You can do that.
Yeah. Let me see some other smart grocery shopping tips. Sometimes, you know what? Coupons. We don't typically do like cut coupons, but sometimes they be in the phone. They got like apps where you can have coupons in the app. So sometimes we do that. But that's really pretty much it. Like Aldi's is like the best thing I can say. Like you can save so much money by going to Aldi's. It was a YouTube video I watched like 2 weeks ago, and they were talking about the different prices and how much you can spend. And Aldi's was like the best choice.
Yeah, bro. Hey, Aldi is where it's at. And for me, Aldi's is about planning. And so my biggest smart grocery shopping tip is plan your grocery list weekly, right? The reason why some people may say monthly, they may say every 2 weeks, but the reason why I say weekly is so that you don't get to a point where your shopping and your grocery habits run stale. We want you to be intentional, but we don't want you to be bored. And so for me, I'm like, okay, what do I need, the next week? So I keep some staples. So for my meats, I buy chicken in bulk. I buy beef. I buy a steak every now and then or a pot roast. So when I talk about beef in bulk, I'm usually getting a pot roast because I know I can have that for lunch throughout the week, or I can have it for dinner, or I can stagger it, right? So, and then I keep shrimp and I keep sausage for breakfast. Just any type of sausage. It typically is just more stable for my digestive system than bacon actually is, because it's hard for my body to digest it. And then eggs. Eggs are a huge go-to. I can have eggs at any point in time. I kid you not, I have like 3 cartons of eggs in my fridge right now because I'll have 3 eggs for breakfast in the morning. It depends on like if I'm like working out or like if it's a rest day for me or not, but I'll make me an egg and a sausage burrito. So I got these big old tortillas. I get like the 16 packs from Amazon. So Amazon has these 16 packs of burrito tortillas. And so I get all those and then I'll take them, and they're pretty big, but I'll take them and I'll fold them and put them in a gallon bag. But now I've got 4 or 5 stacks, and that'll last me, a pack of those will last me probably 2 weeks, right? So now I've got a bunch of tortillas that leads to my side. I'll either do tortillas or I'll do the little Hawaiian rolls. And here's why. With the Hawaiian rolls, I'll buy maybe two or three packs of those at a time. I try to stick to two because I'm realizing three, I just don't quite go through that many unless I got my baby girl. But it also makes fun for kids because they make little sandwiches. But I'll either make breakfast sandwiches out of them. I'll make dinner sandwiches with that beef that I have left over. So if I got the pot roast that I made, I'll take that pot roast and I'll take little spoonfuls and I'll put it on there with some barbecue sauce, some cheese or something for dinner, or just anything. You could. Hawaiian rolls are versatile. Tortillas are extremely versatile. So if also I like getting turkey, like turkey burger, right? The ground turkey. So I can make burgers out of that and I can make tacos out of that. But turkey is a lean meat, so it helps you stay healthy. So it doesn't necessarily have the fat content that beef does, and it's easier to digest. And so that's a huge thing. And then my biggest staple, the thing that I keep on deck, no matter what, rice.
Mm-hmm.
So rice for me, I can have it for breakfast with some brown sugar if I need to. I can have it for lunch with my frozen veggies. So my main frozen veggie for me is green beans. So I can take the green beans. Green beans are just so versatile, man. You can knock them down real quick. So I got my green beans, my frozen green beans. I probably got 5 packs in the freezer right now because they're like, I don't know how much I paid. I think like $1 something a pack or $2 or something. But I'll go through 1 pack that's split up between 3 days, or 3 meals or whatnot. So that helps out there. I just keep the basic veggies. And then my last, to top it off, seasonings. I got 5, 6 different types of seasonings. You know what I'm saying? I keep my buttery seasoning on that. I got on deck. I got this salt that's called 𝗏𝗏𝗏. It's like a very elegant and classy salt. It tastes so good. So I keep that 𝗏𝗏𝗏 on deck. And then I also, I got the like chipotle chili seasoning, you know what I'm saying, to give it that taco vibe if I want it. I got the mesquite seasoning, and then I got the garlic and herb seasoning. And I got a couple of, here and there, but all your meals gonna taste different. Look at the combinations that you have out of keeping it simple. And the seasonings you don't have to buy over and over. Right? A lot of the times the money that you spend up front will change your life because now you got a system, and whenever you're hungry, you got it on deck. Because you always keep keep the fridge stored, with food that's healthier for you and it's giving you a good bang for your buck.
You know what?
Would you?
I got one more thing to say, actually. Now that you brought up the seasonings and stuff, like my favorite food, bro, is in time Fiesta pizza. And sometimes I'm bougie when it comes to pizza, bro. I ain't gonna even lie.
Okay.
Like, I be like,
hey, you from the shop, bro.
I don't come over here with Little Johns or whatever. Whatever.
No Little Caesars. Sean don't eat Little Caesars. He cheap on everything except pizza.
Don't give me none of that, please.
So get Sean in check. See, he out here lacking.
So since pizza is like one of my favorite foods, Zora is like, yo, let's make our own pizza. And at first I was a little hesitant because I ain't never make my own pizza. I was like, you know what? Let's give it a try. So we went to Aldi's, we get all the ingredients and we throw our pieces together, if we want ground beef pizza or chicken pizza or whatever. And it's delicious, bro. It's delicious. It only costs like, I don't know, $7, $8 for everything. Okay, maybe a little bit more if you add ground beef, maybe $10. But if I go to Italian Fiesta, I'm spending $25, $30 on a pizza. So I haven't had Italian Fiesta in a while, and I probably, now that I'm thinking about it, I gotta get some pizza now. But but it's like, why don't you learn to cook the foods that you enjoy? Like I enjoy steak, right? And now I feel like I can make a steak so good that I don't even order steak when I go out to eat, bro. Because I'm like, I'm not about to pay $40 for a steak.
It's all Googleable.
I can get a whole steak this big from Aldi's, G. The one with the red label on it. I don't even know the name of it. I just look for the red label. I'm like, yep, that's my steak right there. I go to Aldi, I get my little red, label steak. I get my box of rice like you, right? Yeah. And then I get my green beans, boy, and I'm straight.
Yeah, exactly. Bro, and that is the most. Thank you for sharing, because that is the most beautiful epiphany you ever have. that you are capable of more than you think you are. You know what I'm saying? And you can do more than you think you can. And that has been really life changing for me because I'm like, oh, you mean food prep doesn't have to be miserable? You know, a lot of people, they showed them like chopping through carrots and doing those things. It doesn't have to be miserable. It just needs to be intentional. But intentional require, you know, do a little research, figure out how not to dry that chicken out, right? Hey, if you make a dry chicken and you don't want to Google it, get you a Ninja Foodie. You know what I'm saying? They'll tell you how many minutes to put it on, and your chicken will still be juicy throughout the week. That was a big struggle for me with chicken. Was I was like, man, this chicken is garbage, it's dry. But with that Ninja Foodie, it's got like the way the machine cooks it. It's beautiful. And then even 3 days later, I still got juicy chicken, which is amazing. So do the things that really are gonna help you change your life, because you make these small tweaks, they're gonna build discipline for years later to come. But without further ado, this has been another episode of Bag Talk 101. I'm Tommy.
I'm Sean.
And we appreciate y'all.